Okay, let's talk about the secret superstars of the English language. I'm talking about determiners. They're those tiny little words we use constantly, like the, this, and my, that actually pack a massive punch when it comes to making our sentences clear and precise. So let's dive right in. So just think about it for a second. If you say you saw a house, well, you could mean literally any house on the street. But if you say you saw the house, you're talking about one very specific house that both you and the person you're talking to already know about. That one small word completely changes the entire meaning, and that's the kind of power we're going to explore today. So, what exactly are these things? Well, the best way to think of them is as the essential building blocks for any clear sentence. You really can't build without them. Okay, here's the more official definition. A determiner is a word that always comes right before a noun, and its whole job is to give us context. It kind of determines if we're talking about something specific or something general, whose it is, how much of it there is, or exactly which one we mean. It's basically a signpost for the noun that follows. To make this super simple, we've organized all these determiners into a handy toolkit with 5 key categories. We've got articles for defining things, demonstratives to point them out, possessives to show ownership, quantitatives to count them, and interrogatives to ask about them. All right, let's start with the tools you probably use the most, articles. Their main job is super important. It's to tell the listener whether you're talking about one specific thing or just a general example of a thing. And here is the core difference in action. I need a book uses the indefinite article a. It means any old book will do. But I need the book uses the definite article the, which means I need a specific book, the one we both know I'm talking about. See how one tiny word adds so much information? It's pretty cool. Now for a classic English puzzle that trips up so many people. I mean, university starts with a U, hour starts with an H, so why on earth do they use different articles? Shouldn't it be an university? Well, here's the secret. It has absolutely nothing to do with the letter and everything to do with the sound it makes. The word hour starts with a vowel sound, that ow sound, so we use an. And university? It actually starts with a consonant sound, a U sound, so we use a. It's a simple rule once you realize you have to listen for the sound, not just look at the spelling. Okay, let's move on to our next set of tools. These are the ones that help us point things out and show exactly who they belong to. We're talking about demonstratives and possessives. Demonstratives are beautifully simple. It's all about proximity, how close something is. You use this book for the one right here in your hand, and that book for the one way over on the other side of the room. And it's the same for plurals. These books right here and those books way over there. And this works for distance in both space and time. Now, for possessives. This sentence right here highlights one of the most common mistakes in all of English. It's, with no apostrophe, is the possessive. The leaves belong to the tree. It's, with an apostrophe, is just a short way of saying it is. So, a tree drops its leaves when it's windy. Getting that right is absolutely crucial. Next up in our toolkit, we've got a category that's all about quantity. How do we say how many of something there are, or how they're spread out in a group? Let's find out. Just look at the dramatic shift in meaning here, just by adding one tiny letter. Saying someone has few friends sounds pretty sad, right? It implies they don't have enough. But saying they have a few friends is positive. It means they have some. Same thing with time. We have little time, sounds like a problem. But we have a little time means we've got enough to work with. Here's a quick cheat sheet for some other common ones. You're going to use many for things you can actually count, like photos. And you'll use much for things you can't, like time or food. Each and every are perfect when you want to focus on the individuals within a group. And both? Well, that's just for a pair of things. Simple as that. And finally, we come to the last tool in our kit, interrogatives. These are the determiners that help us turn statements into questions so we can get the information we're looking for. Let's focus on one of the trickier ones for a second, which. See, while a word like what is for really general questions, which is your go-to when you're presenting a limited set of options? In this example, you're not asking about any town in the entire world, you're asking to choose specifically between Leeds and Oxford. It narrows the focus perfectly. So, there you have it, our complete determiner toolkit. We've seen how these small words aren't just minor details floating around. Nope, they are essential tools for building clear, powerful, meaningful communication. So let's recap it all. To make your sentences really sharp,
You now have the tools to specify with articles, to point with demonstratives, to assign with possessives, to quantify with quantitives, and to ask with interrogatives. Every single tool in your kit has a clear and powerful job to do. We've seen how determiners are tiny but mighty. And that really leaves us with a final thought. What other small words, maybe things like prepositions or conjunctions, do you think have the biggest impact on the meaning of our sentences? It's just a great reminder that in language, size doesn't always matter. Thanks for watching.